The level of misogyny, regency, and like looking for a husband and men in this book irritated me. The banter is top tier. Hi, welcome. My name is Zahrah and today we are talking about all the books that I have read recently. Let's get into it. Okay, so I have not done one of these in a very long time, but I've read quite a few books. Some of these, not all of these, some of the books I read on my phone. Yep. And, ooh, okay. Thought I saw somebody. And the weather is beautiful. I'm feeling great. I was like, why don't we sit today and talk about everything I've been reading? Because I have actually been reading a lot. I am back in my reading era. Let's just dive straight in. So I've been back in my reading era. I've been reading quite a few books. This is kind of just going to be a wrap up of like all the books I've read since the start of this year. January, February, March. I will not include April reads because I'll do a separate video on everything I've read in April because I've read quite a few books there. So let's get into it. Oh my god. Some of these books are from so long ago. I thought I read this last year. All right. Okay. Whoa. Okay. We have a lot of books. Let's get set up. Let's get into it. The first book I read so long ago, I'm pretty sure, I was certain that I read this last year, but I actually read this year, and that is Emily Wilde's Map of Other Lands. So good. So good. Emily Wilde's Map of Other Lands by Heather Fawcett, if you don't know, is like the second book in a series. It's kind of a cozy fantasy, but it's still quite action-packed. Like it has a very cozy atmosphere. It's written in an academic style. Our main girl, Emily, of course, is a scholar on fairies, basically. In this book, right, Wendell is being attacked by his stepmother. Spoiler, kind of. Wendell is being attacked by his stepmother, so Emily must figure that out, and she's working on this new thing. In the last book, she was working on an encyclopedia of fairies. Today, she's working on in this book, she's working on the Map of Other Lands, essentially like a map book of like all the different fairylands. So yeah, it's again action-packed, like one of the best fantasy series out there. So well written, so interesting, so funny. Like the banter is top tier. The romance is top tier. This is how I like my romances. It is not your typical cozy fantasy, but there is like some level of coziness to it. I feel like there are so many moments that are just so like Wendell and Wendell's urge to just clean everything, cozy cottage, all of that is there. It's very light academia. Like it is, obviously we're following our main girl as a scholar who is obsessed and very witty and almost obnoxious, but I mean that in the best way possible. It's written through like as journal entries, and I love that aspect. I think it's written very differently to how most fantasies are written, and I love that. I love seeing Wendell like steal her journal and write some chapters. So good, like from his point of view. Love that. The cunningly sharp and stunning world Fawcett describes. I love the banter and the yearning, and this kind of romance is my absolute favorite. I cannot wait for the third book. It feels like I know I'm not selling it well, but it feels like I read this a lifetime ago. Like I didn't even think I read this year. I guess I did. So, Emily Wilde's Map of Other Lands, 5 out of 5 stars, amazing, 100% recommend. Grab it if you can. Loved it. The first book of 2026. The next book I read was Lessons in Chemistry, which unfortunately was a DNF. I remember reading this, one sec. I remember reading this and it was just so frustrating to read this. It was so, I wrote, men in this book irritated me because of how real they sound. It is definitely, I would say, a fairly accurate portrayal of being a woman in the, I guess, was it 60s? Pretty sure. The level of misogyny present in this book obviously is very real. That is what women had to experience then, but it was hard to read. It just irritated. I just wanted to slap all the men in this book. It irritated me. Like they all sucked, and I just hated the men in this book. The things they could just get away with really irritated me. The comments they could make and get away with annoyed me. Like, this book just annoyed me. It was actually making me angry. Like it was frustrating to read. Yeah, but a very like real portrayal of what it means to be a woman though. I can't help but think though, if that's what white women had to experience, how bad must it have been for women of color, because this was brutal. This was like some brutal level misogyny, not just from men, but even other women hating on our main girl who, I should probably introduce it if you haven't heard of it already. Lessons in Chemistry is like one of the most popular books of like 2023, was it? Double checking. Yeah, came out, well, the show came out in 2023, but the book came out maybe a little earlier than that. Book came out in 2022. Okay. It came out, immediately went viral. It was very popular. One of the most, like, a book talk sensation. There's a Apple TV show on it too that I've heard is very good. I should maybe get to it. I don't know. If it's as irritating as the book, I don't know. But yeah, that's that. A part of me wants to pick it up again because now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, maybe I should pick it up because it was getting interesting. Like I said, spoiler alert, this is like the spoiler part. I'm just gonna preface this. Our main guy, Calvin, right? Our main girl is she's just gone through a lot, right? She is Elizabeth Zott. She is a single mom. She is like a scientist trying to break into this male-dominated industry. She's gone through a lot. She's had a rough childhood. She's had her brother, I think, commit suicide. She's just very traumatized, and it kind of felt like the author was just wanted her to have a tragic backstory, so she gave our main girl all this traumatic history and stuff like that. And then despite all of that, spoiler alert, Calvin, who is the love interest, correct? I hope I have his name correct, hopefully. Yeah, Calvin, who is the love interest, just dies fairly early in the story. I hated how the romance ended. He dies, and he lied to her about many things before he died. So she's really hurt. On one hand, she misses him and she's grieving because he was like the only good thing in her life, the only person that like loved her, and she's had like very traumatic experiences with people. She's hated on by all these men and women. Her parents died when she was very young. Her brother committed suicide. She doesn't have a lot of support or any support. And when this man came in to support her, he obviously was great on one hand, but he did lie to her about many things. He died before any of that gets cleared up. Yeah, I don't know why he lied and kept secrets from her. Yeah, like the author kind of packed a lot of trauma into our main girl's story in life. She can't seem to catch a break is what I wrote, and I really agree with that. It's just back-to-back trauma, back-to-back hard things. It felt really sad and low-key depressing to read. That was Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmis. DNF at like maybe 50%. A tough read. Anyways, swiftly moving on from that very depressing read, we have Little Woman that I'm still currently reading, but I still wanted to mention. I feel like I mention this book every time we do a wrap up because I read a bit of it and then I put it down. It's a beautifully written book. I'm really enjoying it. It is a classic, and classics always take me a lot longer to get through, so this is taking me some time, but it's wonderfully written. It's not too hard to read. I would say out of all the classics I've ever read, which is not that many, this is one of the easier ones to read. I'm really loving how unique each character is. That's one thing. I really like how unique each character is, and I'm really liking the level of dedication the author put to properly characterizing the characters. Like, they don't all read like one. They're very distinct personalities, and I love that, and I'm excited to see where we go from here. I think last time I left the book, like the last thing I remember reading is Meg. Spoiler, if you haven't read it. Meg gets married. The girls kind of go down their own paths at this point in the story. Meg's getting married, and that's where I left off. I'm not sure what happens after that, but hopefully by the next reading wrap-up video, I have finished it so I can let you guys know. Little Woman, that's all I have to say. Very interesting, not too slow, not too hard to read. By Louisiana May Alcott, right? Little Woman by Louisiana May Alcott. Hopefully I didn't butcher her name. That's that. Okay, the next book I read was Half a Soul, which is one that Carrie can read. I was watching one of her videos and she recommended it. Half a Soul by Olivia Altwater. She recommended it in one of her older reading wrap-ups as like a book to read when you like just need a pick-me-up. Like, you just need something that's good, that's ridiculous, that's fun, that's not too much, that's not something insane to commit to. And that's exactly what this book is. It truly is a no-brainer, an easy read, something you can pick up when you just want to get out of a slump, when you've been reading some meh books and nothing's really hitting. This is your book to go to. It's just fast-paced and ridiculous. Like a solid 3.7 stars is what I would say it would be. In Half a Soul by Olivia Altwater. Again, a book set in the fairy world, which is very surprising as someone who hated The Cruel Prince. I was like immediately put off fairies and all of that because of that book. But recently, the Emily Wilde series really changed my mind, and this just added to that. It is Regency England, right? Regency England. It is like young ladies are out and they're looking for husbands and all of that. And our main character, whose name Theodora, only has half a soul. There was a little incident when she was younger. She came across a fairy prince who stole half her soul. And she's been living fine. She just can't feel emotions. Like, she can do everything but feel emotions. So in certain scenarios, like, she just doesn't react properly. Like, if she burnt her hand, she's not gonna feel really upset. You know, she doesn't feel anything, kind of emotionally. I think physically, like, if you hurt her, she would feel pain, but she wouldn't feel sadness. Kind of, I'm pretty sure that's how it works. So she's kind of cursed, like, in that sense. And she has no sense of fear or embarrassment, a condition which makes her prone to accidental scandals. Because this is Regency England, and women have to be perfect. And Theodora is quite literally the opposite of the perfect woman. Dora hopes to be a quiet, sensible wallflower during the London season, but when the strange, handsome, and utterly uncouth Lord Sorcier, forgot his name, discovers her condition, she's instead drawn into a dangerous and peculiar fairy affairs. Our main guy, Lord Sorcier, is a magician who is prone and known for being rude. Like, he's quite a rude person. Like, he doesn't do all of that manners and chivalry, none of that. He is a magician who works for the English government and helps the government fight against, like, the French. So he's not that polite gentleman. And when Dora becomes acquainted with him, they kind of go on this journey together to solve and figure out the curse that she has and try to, like, fix it and get her soul back. Basically, alongside this, some magic has been corrupting society and people are kind of dying from these, like, mysterious illnesses. So our man is working on that too while helping Dora. And the two cases seem more coincidental than he thought. Right, and this book I thought was so good. I thought it was funny and ridiculous. I thought it's just like that classic funny read. We have Dora's cousin, who is quite the character. She is one of the main characters too. I forgot her name. I forget the names. I don't remember her name. But she's like, you know, Dora's with her cousin and her aunt, her family. She's never met her father. Her mother died when she was young. She lives with her aunt. And her cousin Vanessa is her closest friend. And Vanessa is, you know, of age. So the aunt is trying to get Vanessa married. So it's lots of, like, Regency and, like, looking for a husband and all of that while Dora figures out what's going on and gets acquainted with this magician. It's fun, it's whimsical, and it's just, like, a super cute and simple read, like I wrote. Yeah, nothing world-shattering, but, like, a great palate cleanser. And it ended my reading slump. A good pick, and it's just a good pick-me-up when you want, like, a light-hearted read, is that. So, Half a Soul by Olivia Altwater. There are like a few books in this series, so it's just great. Like, this is what I'd reach for when I'm, like, in a slumpy situation. That's that. The next book we have is Happy Place by Emily Henry. I was going to do a vlog, but I scrapped that. It just wasn't working. Guys, this is a DNF. This book was a DNF. This was a straight up DNF. And like I wrote, I didn't see this coming. I brought this book, I don't know where it is, probably up there. A straight up DNF, and I did not enjoy it at all. I read it towards the start of this year, I think February most likely. It was such a bummer. It was just not good at all. I hated Wine or Ween, whatever his name is. Yeah, I didn't like him. He was so, like, overly physical and just not, there was no chemistry. There was no reason why they're, like, perfect for each other. Like, I don't get it. One of them is a chronic people pleaser. The other one is just, like, a super angsty bad boy. And it's just, I don't know, they didn't communicate. He, like, broke up with her, and that was, like, the whole point of the story, and I don't care. I did not like Ween. I didn't like the fact that, like, the only point of the story was to, like, figure out why they broke up. Like, that's what you don't know, so you're supposed to continue reading for that. Harriet and Wyn are, like, the perfect couple, allegedly, and they're like the perfect couple. They've been together since college now, but, like, 6 months ago, they broke up. Fast forward to present day, they're friends, and they, like, go on this annual summer vacation and spend, like, the summer at this beach house. Except this is the year that the beach house is being sold. So this is the last time the four of them will be together, right, in this beach house. And so Harriet and Wine decide to, like, pretend to be together and not break the news and, like, ruin everything. Their friend also just got engaged. So it's just like they don't want to ruin the mood and stuff. So they're like, well, let's just fake date. I didn't like it. I didn't like any of the friends either. Forgot all their names. They're all supposed to be very unique characters, but they just felt like caricatures and they were just badly written. I didn't understand why we're supposed to love one character or why, like it rotates between past and present. And when we're in the present day, I don't understand the friends. Harriet will make certain comments and be like, "Oh, this is so like Sarah coded." Like this, basically, you know, being like this is like Sarah or whatever her name was is always like this. Like, but it's like we as readers don't know why Sarah's like this. We as readers don't understand the inside jokes or how they know each other so well. They like we don't know how they got close. None of it makes sense. They don't seem very close. I don't know. Kind of maybe. I don't know. I didn't get the friendship. I didn't really like the side characters that much. I didn't like Ween. I think Harriet was okay but kind of annoying. Yeah, I hated how he was so angsty and silent, but also just like very physical. The romance didn't make any sense. Yeah, really upset about that because I am like a hardcore Emily Henry fan, but this was my second Emily Henry DNF. Not for me. Happy Place by Emily Henry. DNF'd. The next book I read was actually a bit better than my previous book that we just finished, and that was And Now Back to You by BK Borrison. I posted a reel talking about this one too. In the reel I mentioned this, but it was a weird experience. It was not the worst, definitely better than her previous book. She wrote First Time Caller, which I didn't love. As much as I loved our main girl in First Time Caller, I didn't like the guy. In this book, I liked the guy a lot. I feel like, yeah, like I didn't like him in the previous book. He was nice. In this book, he was obviously a side character in this book. In this book, we're following Jackson and Delilah. Jackson's a radio weatherman basically, and Delilah like is also part of the weather world, but she's like a journalist. Like she physically goes and reports what's happening, whereas like Jackson just does it on the radio. They get an opportunity to cover this like massive snowstorm together, and they like, you know, have to stake out and like share a like cabin or whatever. Like not a cabin, they were like in a hotel room, but like, you know, go and stake out and like cover the storm together. Basically is our setup, right? Delilah's that fun and almost pixie maniac kind of girl, kind of like a lot. And Jackson's allegedly was a cinnamon roll, right? Like just a super cute, chill guy, kind of nervous. He always fumbles when he's like live. He gets really nervous, and he like, when he's like in front of a camera, like if he's just on the radio, he's like whatever. But when he's in front of the camera, he like fumbles. Even on the radio, like he gets a bit nervous if he doesn't have a script or something. So it's just, he's really like, I guess, cute and awkward and like a cinnamon roll. At the start, I wrote, so far so good, kind of liking our main guy, also liking our main girl. Neither of them are obnoxious. Romance seems a little insta-lovey, but let's see. A fast-paced read, I'm flying through it. Facts. It was a very fast-paced read. I think I read it in like a couple hours. Like it was very fast-paced, which was nice. The writing style was good. What happened to our characters? Jackson goes, the minute it gets a bit steamy, and I skip over the steamy stuff, but like before it gets steamy, Jackson's a cinnamon roll. He's, you know, he's very nervous, kind of shy. Right after, he becomes obnoxiously, not obnoxious, but like very overly confident. Very, very confident. Very, very like out there, telling her what to do. Like, I couldn't. I was like, I liked his character as it was, and it just takes a 360 immediately. There's like, that's the character development. Like, he just switches, basically, and becomes like overly confident. Delilah had better character development, I would say. She at the start was very like, you know, sarcastic, joking, super hyper, very high energy, but there are moments in the story where her barrier, where her like facade basically kind of goes down, her walls, she kind of takes her walls down, and she just reveals her real self, which is, you know, sometimes she's nervous, sometimes she's scared. There are moments, there are scenes when she was crying, and I feel like that was nice. It showcases a vulnerable side to her. Jackson just became weird. Like, I don't know. That's that, right? Like, that's all I have to say on this book. It started off great. It had a great start. Gets you hooked in pretty quickly. Fast-paced, right? Better than her previous book, but I just didn't love it. It fell flat. The ending was emotional. I guess the ending hit a bit. The middle was just no. The middle, could have been better, basically. 3.5 stars. And now back to you by BK Borrison. Okay, we have made it. We have made it to the end of this video, and I have kind of lost my voice, so I'm going to be quick here. My goodness. Okay. How to Kill a Guy in 10 Dates by... Oh my god, I've actually lost my voice. Okay. How to Kill a Guy in 10 Dates by... Shaylee Thompson? Yes, How to Kill a Guy in 10 Days by Shaylee Thompson. Okay, so I won't go too heavily into this because I did do a whole vlog on it. But basically, it was really interesting. It was really well written. I loved the writing style. I feel like there were so many references because this book, if you don't know, is a rom-com slasher. Our main girl is a film student. She's doing currently her thesis on how rom-coms and slashers are more similar than you think, how final girls and leading ladies have a lot in common. Yeah, the book is filled with references to rom-coms and thrillers and slashers, and I love that. I love the writing style and how it immediately immerses you into that kind of world. The problem I had with it, yeah, like I said, got repetitive in the middle. There were moments where I felt like we weren't really doing anything. We're just wandering around. Bit grotesque. I don't read thrillers, so maybe it's just me. But I did skip over the gory parts and stuff. Overall, solid read. It was easy to read. If you want more details, just head to my vlog where I did film for like a week straight, and it's like a 50-minute vlog. Head over there, or I'll link that maybe at the bottom. But yeah, overall interesting, very interesting. Liked it. Could have been better at parts, bit repetitive. Overall, still a great read though. That's that. How to Kill a Guy in 10 Dates. Jamie, our MC, female main character, very unhinged. Very unhinged girl. Like at moments I was like, girl, like, yeah, that's that. How to Kill a Guy in 10 Dates, Shaylee Thompson. Check out my video. That being said, thank you so much for watching my video. Thank you so much for showing up. Thank you so much for liking, commenting. Please comment your favorite book. But thank you for being here. Thank you for watching all the way through. I really appreciate it. Thank you for just listening to me yap. I hope you're having a great day. The weather is gorgeous. If I don't fully lose my voice, I may go out, but we'll see. That being said, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you had fun. I will be putting out another vlog and another wrap up soon. Till then, take care. Bye.